Hi guys, this is Ma'am Yan. Today, let's do a ratio of your pharma concepts. Guys, quick disclaimer lang, no? Do not use this as medical advice. If you need help, go get checked by a doctor to get your prescription. This is purely for educational purposes only and not for medical advice. Claro ba? Yes. Anyway, let's start. Pharma. Number 1. The nurse is teaching catching about using your topical gentamicin sulfate or your garamicin. Which of the following statements indicates she needs more teaching? So, pag sinabing she needs more teaching, we're looking for the wrong answer. Put a big X. Letter A, I will avoid being out in the sun for long periods. Letter B, I should stop applying it as ordered once the infected area heals. Letter C, I'll call the physician if the condition worsens. Or letter D, I should apply it to large open areas. Guys, the only correct answer for number 1 is no other than letter D. I should apply it to large open areas. That's a wrong statement from the patient. Why? Remember this. Pag sinabing topical, do you apply it directly on the skin of the patient? Yes. Pag sinabing gentamicin sulfate, is that an antibiotic? Yes, very good. Guys, bakit hindi pwedeng i-apply to large open areas ang gentamicin sulfate na topical? Kasi guys, that kind of medication, topical application, dapat i-apply mo lang yan sa affected areas only. When you apply it to large open areas, you are at higher risk of systemic absorption of the medication. When you say increase in the systemic absorption of the medication, mas maa-absorb ng katawan mo in greater amount ang gentamicin sulfate na dapat ay topical lang in-apply. Guys, analyze. Pag topical binigay ang yung gentamicin sulfate, knowing that it has an intravenous route, bakit binigay mo topical lang? Kasi gusto mo localized infection lang ang maaapektuhan ng gentamicin sulfate dose mo. Klaro ba? Yes. So ngayon, pag in-apply mo on larger areas, you are at higher risk of a systemic absorption of the medication. Why do we do not want that? The reason is because pag sinabing gentamicin sulfate, guys, that's an aminoglycoside class of antibiotic. And this is the key in nursing. Pag aminoglycoside antibiotic, guys, please, dapat ang laman ng utak mo, that one is high risk of what? Nephrotoxicity. Ibig sabihin guys, toxic yan sa kidneys mo. Kaya hindi natin basta-basta binibigay lang ang gentamicin sulfate or ang aminoglycoside antibiotic natin like your gentamicin sulfate, like your amikacin, and like your neomycin na basta-basta lang sa mga pasyente natin. Kasi it has a higher risk for what? Nephrotoxicity. It can damage your kidneys. It can cause acute kidney injury. What kind? Guys, intrarenal. Intrarenal. Ibig sabihin, inside the kidneys. Inside renal kidneys. Inside the kidney tissues can die, can be damaged because of what? A nephrotoxic drug like your what? Aminoglycoside like your what? Gentamicin sulfate, amikacin, neomycin. Klaro ba yon? Yes. Kaya guys, iniiwasan natin ang increased systemic absorption. Kaya natin siya binibigay topical. Kaya kapag sinabi ng pasyente mo, I will apply it on large open areas, that's a wrong statement there. Klaro ba? Yes, because that one will increase the risk of nephrotoxicity, can damage the kidneys of the patient because it will increase systemic absorption. Klaro ba yon? Yes, very good. Letter A, I will avoid being out in the sun for prolonged periods is correct because gentamicin sulfate, when you apply it topical, can make you photosensitive. Claro? Yes. Letter B, I should stop applying it as ordered once the infected area heals is correct. Guys, another tip, when you're dealing with antibiotics, guys, disclaimer, this is also an important concept, especially when you're taking NCLEX. Guys, pag antibiotics yan, 7 days is 7 days. Hindi pwedeng mag-underdose or else you are at risk for what? Bacterial resistance. And hindi ka rin pwedeng mag-overuse because you are at risk for what we call your super infections. Claro? Yes, when you say super infection, that one happens when you overuse more than 7 days, more than 3 times a day as instructed. Pag sinobrahan mo ang gamit mo ng antibiotic like your aminoglycoside, gentamicin sulfate, you can create a super infection. Guys, an example of that, very common, is your C. diff or your C. difficile. C. difficile, claro? Kind of infection. That one is a GI infection kung saan ang pasyente mo ay magtatae lang ng magtatae. Why? Pag nasobrahan ka sa antibiotics, remember, antibiotics can kill bacteria. Inside the GI tract is at the house of millions of bacteria. Yes, most of these bacteria, they help you digest the food that you eat. They help in the GI function. Now, if you're overusing an antibiotics, you kill the normal flora in the GI. Kasi nga antibiotic yan, it can kill the bacteria. Pag pinatay mo yung mga helpful bacteria sa tiyan mo, guys, ang bacteria na yan, most of their function, they also allow the normal flora to live peacefully in your GI. Pag na-disrupt mo yan, kasi nag-antibiotics ka ng sobra, ang mangyayari sa'yo, a super infection can happen in the GI, like your C. diff. Kasi wala nang bacteria na magka-counter sa C. diff bacteria dyan sa tiyan mo. Klaro ba? Yes. Kaya, do not overuse or else super infection like C. diff. Common concept yan in antibiotics question, especially in your NCLEX. Klaro ba? Yes. Guys, letter C, I'll call the physician if the condition worsens is correct. Kasi ibig sabihin, hindi siya nag-work sa'yo, you may need a change in the prescription and only a doctor can give you a change in the prescriptions. Clara ba? Yes, very good. That's number 1. Number 2, the nurse coordinates with the staff of the lab to obtain the gentamicin through serum level for the look. Gentamicin pa rin, guys. When should the blood be drawn in relation to his IV dose of gentamicin sulfate? Letter A, 2 hours before the administration of the next IV dose. Letter B, 3 hours before the administration of the next IV dose. Letter C, 4 hours before the administration of the next IV dose. Or letter D, just before the administration of the next IV dose. And the only correct answer is no other than delta lang po. Okay? Just before the next IV dose of Diluc. Anong gamot to? Gentamicin sulfate pa rin ba? Yes. Is that an antibiotics ba? Yes. Anong route natin ngayon, guys? Intravenous ba? Yes. What do we know in an intravenous route generally? Is it mas mabilis na absorption ba? Faster effect din ba? Yes, exactly. Guys, eto pa. Remember this concept in pharma. When you are asked to check for a throw of the medication, kahit anong gamot pa yan, like this one, antibiotic na powerful, like your gentamicin sulfate, you check the throw because you're checking for the toxicity potential of the medication. T for throw, T for toxicity. So, kung gusto mong malaman kung malapit nang mag-reach ng toxic levels ang antibiotics or whatever kind of IV drug medication you're giving, you check the throw. Guys, if you wanna check if toxic na, throw ang i-check mo. And when is the best time to check that? Before you give your next dose. Why? Kasi guys, pag malapit na maging toxic level, pag chinek mo ang throw, doon mo malalaman kung malapit na maging toxic level. That's the hint that will tell the nurse to hold the next dose. Klaro ba? Yes, that's why you need to check the throw just before the next dose because that one will tell you if the next dose should be held or should be given. Klaro ba? Yes. And again, tying it back to when we say gentamicin sulfate, is that an aminoglycoside? Yes. Pag aminoglycoside antibiotic, toxic ba to the kidneys? Yes. Nephrotoxicity is high risk. Klaro? Yes. Kaya dapat mag-check talaga natin ang throw level niya. T for throw, T for toxicity. Klaro ba yon? Yes. Guys, listen. This one is about the throw. Guys, another concept dyan when you're talking about powerful medication is the peak of the medication. P ng peak will tell you the potency of the medication or the power. Guys, kung may effect ba, kung tumatalab ba yung gamot sa pasyente mo, peak naman ang i-check mo. So guys, pag change natin ang tanong, gentamicin peak serum level of Diluc, When is the best time to check it? When do you know the medication is taking effect or being powerful or may power, may potency? Guys, you check it after. Klaro ba? Kasi power will only be checked or makikita mo lang kung may effect siya pag nabigay mo na ang dose. So, after the dose of your antibiotics, in this case, gentamicin sulfate, gaano ka after, ma'am? 30 to 60 minutes after administration. Klaro ba? Yes. That's why letter A, B, or C, wrong yan. 2, 3, 4 hours before the administration, wrong yan. Hindi yan mag-check ng toxic levels. Klaro ba? Yes, kasi by that time, ibig sabihin guys, 2 hours or 3 hours or 4 hours before the next dose, mataas pa ang level ng gamot sa katawan. Mamametabolize pa yan, pwede pa yang bumaba. Okay? Pwede pa yang bumaba. Guys, pag chinek mo yan 2 hours before or 3 hours before or 4 hours before, mataas pa ang level ng gamot, baka isipin mo may toxic levels tayo. Dapat you check it right before the next dose kasi pag dinagdagan mo na ang dose niyan, pwedeng mas tumaas pa sa dugo mo at pwedeng mag-reach ng toxic level. Klaro ba? Yes. Kaya you check it just before the next dose. Klaro ba yon? Yes. Very good. Next, number 3. Jean, who has angina, shows the nurse her nitroglycerin or nitrostat that she carries in a plastic bag in her pocket. The nurse tells her nitroglycerin should be kept in. Memorize nyo to, guys. Mga nitroglycerin questions. Letter A, the refrigerator. Letter B, a cool, moist place. Letter C, a dark container to shed from light. Or letter D, a plastic bag where it is readily available. What's the correct answer? Oh, wag na magdalawang isip. The only correct answer is Charlie, a dark container to shield from light because you know nitroglycerin is very photosensitive. It reacts with light. Pag na-expose mo yan sa light, okay, mawawalan ng bisa ang gamot. Hindi na siya makakatulong sa angina or chest pain ng pasyente. Kaya you put it on a dark container to shield it from light because it's very photosensitive. Guys, kung sinagot mo ang plastic bag, wala kang pinagkaiba sa pasyente mo. Plastic bag din ang gamit niya. Klaro ba? Yes. And mali yun. Because a plastic bag, klaro ba yun? Guys, transparent ang plastic bag. Klaro ba? Yes. Huwag kang mag-assume na, ma'am, yung plastic bag is color black. Okay? Guys, plastic is plastic transparent. Yung pinaka-general na plastic na meron tayo. Klaro ba? Yes, kaya mali yan. Moist, a cool, moist place, mali. Pwedeng cool, guys, but it should be dry. Kasi pag na-moist mo yan, guys, mawawalan ng bisa pag nabasa ang gamot. Klaro ba? Yes. Ref, maling-mali. Dapat yan room temperature. Enough lang. Yung cool, okay? Hindi naman mainit, hindi rin sobrang lamig. Okay? That's for number 3. Number 4, Xiao is prescribed NSAIDs for musculoskeletal pain. The nurse reminds him that it is important to letter A, take NSAIDs at least 3 times per day. Letter B, exercise the joints at least 1 hour after taking the medication. Letter C, take antacids 1 hour after taking NSAIDs. Or letter D, take NSAIDs with food. Oh, don't complicate it. You know this. You know the only correct answer is no other than delta. You take your NSAIDs with food. Okay? Guys, pag sinabing NSAIDs, that's your non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. Okay? Drugs. Ayan. So guys, like your aspirin. Klaro? Yes, that's an NSAIDs. You take it with food. Kasi anong alam natin with NSAIDs? That one has a high risk of causing your GI upset that can lead to the formation of a GI ulcer. Klaro? Yes. Okay, sabi nga natin, no, in fact, abuse in your NSAIDs can lead to peptic ulcer disease, okay, or the creation of the ulcers in either the stomach lining or the duodenal lining, making your peptic ulcer disease. Klaro? Isa yan sa mga gamot that can cause peptic ulcer disease. Klaro? Yes. So guys, the only correct answer is delta. Okay, you take it with food para hindi siya mag-cause ng gastric irritation or gastric upset or masugatan ang gastric area mo like your stomach or duodenum. Klaro ba yun? Yes. Letter A, take NSAIDs at least 3 times per day. Guys, mali. Why? Ang sabi sa question, for musculoskeletal pain. Ibig sabihin guys, during pain mo lang maiinumin yan. Yes, ibig sabihin, NSAIDs, it's a PRN drug. Your Prorenata drug. You just take it for musculoskeletal pain. If there is musculoskeletal pain, pag walang pain, do not take it. Klaro ba? Yes, Prorenata drug only. So, pag sinabi mong 3 times a day, at least pa talaga ha, 3 times a day does not satisfy the rule of a Prorenata drug, which is you only take it during pain episodes. So, 3 times per day is like a mandatory taking of the drug rather than a prorenata function. Klaro ba? Yes, that one will increase the risk of a GI upset or ulcer. So again, prorenata only during pain only, making alpha wrong. Exercise the joints at least 1 hour after taking the medication. Guys, at least 1 hour after, hindi pwede. Guys, 1 hour after, masakit na yan kasi bababa na yung level ng NSAID sa katawan mo. Guys, you can make your exercise 30 minutes after taking the medication to aid with the pain. Okay? Kasi musculoskeletal pain, masakit kapag ginagalaw. So, you take your NSAIDs 30 minutes before you do your activity rather than 1 hour. Hindi na siya ganun kabisa as compared when you do it 30 minutes after taking the drug, making it wrong. Letter C, take antacids 1 hour after taking NSAIDs. Listen, guys, this is the rule with your antacids. 1 hour is too low. Dapat yan when you're talking about antacid or mga anti-acid na medications, especially for peptic ulcer disease, you take it 2 hours before your either a meal or a meds. And the same thing, 2 hours after your meals or your meds. That's the rule. Klaro ba? Yes. Kasi guys, in GI, no, 2 hours is a significant time frame. It will take at least 2 hours for everything to be processed by the GI. So, ikaw, kung mag-aantacid ka, you have to take it 2 hours before or 2 hours after to let the transit time happen before mo iinumin ng antacid. Kasi the thing about your antacid is, from the word itself, antacid, it's an anti-acid. And remember guys, every time you eat a meal, okay, you need the acid or the hydrochloric acid of the stomach to digest the food. Kasi yun naman talaga ang function niya. So if you give it with meal, if you give your antacids with meal, what happens is, mawawalan ng hydrochloric acid yung stomach mo. So, hindi mo madadigest ang food. Problem yan. That will cause indigestion. That will cause stomach pain. Klaro ba? Yes, the same thing is true about medications. Guys, antacid will deactivate the hydrochloric acid of the stomach, which is needed to metabolize the medication. Kaya nga, per orim mo tinitake ang gamot kasi kailangan niya ng metabolism from the hydrochloric acid or else wala siyang bisa. So, pag ininom mo ang antacid with medications, okay, or less than 2 hours from the rule of an antacid taking, edi ang mangyayari is, hindi mo ma-activate ang gamot. Hindi mo siya ma-metabolize kasi na-deactivate nga ng anti-acid mo or antacid mo ang hydrochloric acid, which is needed for the medication metabolism. Kano ba yun? Which makes Charlie wrong. The only correct answer is Delta. Next, number 5. Zhongli is receiving digoxin or your lanoxin. His usual pulse is 70 to 76 beats per minute. After assessing his apical pulse for 1 full minute, the nurse finds it to be 60 beats per minute. The nurse should first, letter A, call the physician for orders. Letter B, withhold the digoxin. Letter C, administer the digoxin. Or letter D, notify the charge nurse. And the only correct answer here is no other than you withhold the digoxin. Guys, holding the drug or any intravenous infusion or fluids or medications given to the patient, withholding is an independent nursing action which you can do if you are observing any adverse reaction from the drug. So guys, tell me, do we know that digoxin or lanoxin is a cardiac glycoside we give for patients with heart failure, di ba? HF. Binibigay natin yan digoxin. Klaro? Yes, we give your digoxin. And what do we know about digoxin? Pinaka-importanting nursing consideration that, Jan, do we need to count the apical pulse for 1 full minute? Yes, because digoxin can have an effect of lowering the heart rate. Tama? Yes, we call that your negative chronotropic effect. Chronotropic. Ibig sabihin, it can lower the heart rate para hindi ka maging tachycardic in heart failure. At the same time, positive inotropic can cause a strong contraction of the heart. So that every contraction, even if it's low in heart rate, is good enough to sustain the vital organs, the needed blood circulation kasi strong ang contraction. May positive inotropic effect ang digoxin. However, negative chronotropic effect kasi it can lower heart rate to let the heart rest a little para hindi ka tachycardic, para hindi mapagod ang heart mo in heart failure. So, since it can lower the heart rate, it's important to check the what? The apical pulse. Apical pulse. Guys, that's the strongest pulse of the body generated by your heart mismo. So when you count the apical pulse for 1 full minute, does it have to be more than 60 beats per minute? Yes. Kasi guys, pag naging 60 beats per minute na yan, the nurse can preempt that one can still go down lower than 60 beats per minute. Lalo na kapag sinabi specifically sa question, 70 to 76 beats per minute. Pamigay na yun, guys. Kasi ibig sabihin, yan yung normal heart rate niya. Bakit bumaba ng 60 beats per minute? 10 beats lower than the usual heart rate. So, ibig sabihin, bumabang na talaga ang heart rate niya. Klaro ba yun? Yes. So, do we need to hold the drug? Yes. Because we know it can go lower than 60 beats per minute pag binigay pa natin ang gamot. Yes, precisely. And what did I say about holding drugs or intravenous infusion? Is that an independent nursing action? Yes. To prevent toxic levels of drug, yes, that's what you do. That's why you know pharmacology concepts because it's important for you to either hold or give the drug to make that decision because it's an independent nursing action. So the first thing you do if you observe adverse effect, toxic effect of the drug is to hold the next dose rather than giving it, making Charlie wrong. You don't need to notify your charge nurse, guys, kasi ikaw ang nurse assigned dyan. You notify your charge nurse if you have problems in terms of the medication, tapos hindi mo na contact ang doktor. Wala kang ibang alternative to solve the problem, you call your charge nurse. Pero here, may independent nursing action ka. You know that's toxic. 60 beats, bababa pa yan, ma'am. Alam ko. So, I need to hold the drug. Klaro ba? Yes. Guys, do you need to call the physician? Yes. Only after you have withhold the next dose of digoxin. Ganito ang mangyayari, guys. When you notice that the heartbeat of the patient is 60 beats per minute na lang after checking the apical pulse for 1 full minute, ang gagawin ng nurse, the first thing is to hold the drug. The second thing is to phone the doctor. Tell the doctor, Doc, patient X, ang heart rate niya is 60 beats per minute na lang. And the patient has digoxin on board. Doc, hinold ko po ang gamot. Kasi 60 beats per minute na lang nga ang heart rate niya. Do you have any additional orders? Or do you have any revisions of the orders? Thank you, Doc. Klaro ba? Ganon. Because that's an important and independent nursing action. So, pwede mong gawin ng alpha, but Bravo is the first thing you do. That's your independent nursing action. Klaro ba? Yes, that's the only correct answer. Number 6. Barbara is prescribed hydrochlorothiazide or your hydrodiuryl for heart failure. The nurse should monitor her for which symptom? Letter A, urinary retention. Letter B, muscle weakness. Letter C, confusion. Letter D, diaphoresis. And the only correct answer here is no other than muscle weakness po. Okay? Guys, tell me, your hydrochlorothiazide, is that a diuretic? Yes. Guys, diuretic yan. If you haven't watched my videos on antihypertensive medications, guys, diniscuss ko dun ang mga klase ng diuretics na ginagamit natin for hypertension. Okay? So, for this one, in heart failure, pwede mo rin bang gamitin ang mga diuretics? Yes, exactly. Kasi alam mo, in heart failure, you have fluid congestion. Di ba? Yes, because of the backflow of the blood. And I have a video on heart failure where I discuss all the pathophysiology and the nursing considerations and the pharma of your heart failure. You can also watch it. Okay? Guys, again, going back here, it's a diuretic, hydrochlorothiazide. What kind of diuretic? A thiazide diuretic. Guys, thiazide diuretic, can it eliminate your sodium. Yes, so that you can effectively remove excess water in heart failure. Can it also remove potassium? Yes, precisely. So both of these electrolytes are being eliminated by your thiazide diuretic. So tell me guys, when you have low potassium, can it cause an effect in the muscle contraction? Yes, kasi the thing about the electrolyte potassium, guys, no, do not forget this. Potassium exerts its effects on your muscles as well as your nerves. So, normal levels of potassium, normal function of the muscles, like the muscles of your skeletal muscle and the muscles of your heart. And at the same time, normal function of the nerves of your muscles and your body, and the nerves that innervate your heart. Okay? Kaya guys, pag sinabing thiazide, it can eliminate sodium and potassium. Pag nasobrahan ka sa thiazide diuretic, muscle weakness happens. Kasi bumaba na ngayon ang effect ng potassium in both your muscles and nerves. That's the effect. That's why Bravo is the correct answer. Urinary retention is the opposite of a diuretic. Kasi a diuretic will make you urinate more. So, wrong ang alpha. Confusion is wrong. Now you ask, Ma'am, why not confusion? Kasi di ba it also eliminates sodium. Guys, this is the technique in all the questions in nursing. If you are being asked to choose between sodium and potassium, ang sagutin mo, potassium. Anything that relates to potassium, that one is your priority as a nurse. Klaro ba? Yes, because tell me, letter B, muscle weakness. Is your heart also a muscle? Yes. Going back to the concept of your airway, breathing, and circulation. Between Bravo and Charlie, who's an airway problem? Wala. Who's a breathing problem? Wala. Who's a circulation problem? Guys, muscle weakness. Can that make the muscles of the heart weak? Yes. Can that in turn cause an effect on the circulation? ABC, circulation. Yes, precisely. That's why that's your priority. That's your best bet in this question rather than answering confusion. And diaphoresis is not related to your hydrochlorothiazide or your thiazide diuretic. Clear ba yun? Yes, that's for number 6. Next, number 7. Albedo is prescribed digoxin or your lanoxin. The nurse tells him to report which symptom as a possible sign of digoxin toxicity? Letter A, urticaria. Letter B, shortness of breath. Letter C, visual disturbances. Letter D, hypertension. Okay? Guys, you know this. The only correct answer is no other than your Charlie. Visual disturbances. Kasi guys, visual disturbances about digoxin toxicity. Digoxin toxicity is that you give. Yes, guys, GI problems. For example, nausea and vomiting. For example, diarrhea. For example, abdo pain. Okay? Lahat-lahat na about the GI. Guys, letter V is that about the visuals. Visuals problem. Guys, for example, halos on light. Kung di mo makita ang halos on light, pwedeng rainbows. Pwedeng rainbows? Yes. Rainbows on the light that you're looking at. Guys, pwede bang blurred vision? Pwede yan. Blurred vision. Pwede bang double? Nagdodoble na ang paningin mo? Yes. Any problems in the vision, guys, that's still under digoxin toxicity. Okay, klaro ba? Yes. And the next one is E for electrolyte. Guys, what kind of electrolyte imbalance can cause digoxin toxicity? Is your hypokalemia. Because remember this concept. Guys, again and again, this is the same concept for digoxin. This is a receptor site, okay, where digoxin drug takes effect and potassium electrolyte also takes effect. So listen, ganito yan. Digoxin and potassium, they act on the same receptor site. So when there's digoxin, guys, digoxin can excite the receptor site and it also competes with the electrolyte potassium. Now, the thing is, kapag mababa ang potassium levels ng katawan mo, guys, low si potassium, ang mangyayari is, in this receptor site, si digoxin lang lagi ang mag-e-excite. That one will increase the risk for what? Digoxin toxicity. Kaya may letter E ka, electrolyte. In your give, hypokalemia. Okay? But for this question, the answer is visual disturbances. Klaro ba? Hypertension is the reason why you're giving digoxin. Okay? Kasi it can lower the heart rate, in turn, lower the blood pressure of the patient. Guys, urticaria or hives, yan naman, allergic reaction yan, not a sign of digoxin toxicity. Shortness of breath naman, guys, is probably the reason why you're giving digoxin. Kasi sabi natin, that's one of the drugs we give for heart failure, di ba? Heart failure. So, shortness of breath is probably because of a heart failure, especially the left side. So, to try and eliminate the shortness of breath, you can give digoxin to improve the contractility of the heart to reduce the backflow of the blood to the lungs, causing your shortness of breath. Klaro ba? Yes. So, Charlie is the best answer. Next, number 8. The nurse teaches Candace how to mix and administer regular and NPH insulin, which statement shows she needs additional teaching. So, you're looking for the wrong answer because she needs additional teaching. Okay? Letter A, I draw up the regular insulin first. Letter B, I shake the bottle of NPH insulin before drawing it up. Letter C, I store the insulin in a cold place. Or letter D, I insert the needle at a 90-degree angle. Oh, no other than. Guys, the most wrong answer here is no other than Bravo. Okay? Oh, before you do violent reaction, because your answer is Delta, you listen first. Okay? Why Bravo is the wrong answer here or the needs additional teaching? When you are drawing your regular and your NPH insulin, you follow this rule. When you are injecting air, dapat una yan sa NPH insulin tapos sa regular insulin. And when you're already aspirating contents of your insulin, una ka na sa regular insulin and then last na sa NPH insulin. Guys, bakit ganyan? Kasi you need to inject air first on the vials because the rule is you need to aspirate first on the regular insulin kasi clear yan. As opposed to the NPH insulin na cloudy. So, to look at the needed amounts of insulin na i-aspirate mo, una ka sa clear bago ka sa cloudy. Kaya guys, ang paglagay ng air, dapat last ka maglagay sa regular kasi doon ka una mag-aspirate para mas convenient. Klaro ba? So, put an air on your NPH and then air on the RI or regular insulin and then aspirate kasi nandun ka na sa vial ng regular insulin eh. And then next, you aspirate na on the NPH insulin. Ganun yung rule. So, guys, letter A, tama bang I draw up the regular insulin first? Yes, because clear first before cloudy for proper levels of the insulin units that you need to aspirate. Klaro? Mas klaro pag clear ang una. Guys, I store the insulin in a cool place. Correct. Okay? Guys, ang storage ng insulin mo, pag hindi mo pa siya na-open, ilagay mo sa ref. Pero pag na-open mo na siya in a cool place like room temperature, okay? Bawal mainit. Room temperature, cool place. Correct yan. Insert the needle at a 90-degree angle. Guys, in your Cozier book, no, for fundamentals of nursing, 90-degree angle, pwede mo yan gawin sa pasyente mo, lalo na if they have more fat in the body. 90-degree angle, no problem. Basta, ang importante, you pinch the area when you give the insulin. You pinch the subcutaneous fat. Okay? Para ma-pinch mo yung fat area and then you can administer that. Guys, if you're administering in a flat surface, no, like mga payat, mag-flat, pwede mong i-follow yung rule na 45 to 60 degrees angle. But can you inject in 90 degrees? Yes, correct yan. Walang problema yan. Why then is Bravo is the wrong answer. Pinakamali sa lahat. Tingnan mo. Sabi niya, I shake the bottle of NPH insulin before drawing it up. That's wrong. You do not shake. You only roll in between palms. You only roll it in between your palms. Why can't you shake it? Guys, when you shake a cloudy insulin like your NPH insulin, you are at risk of forming bubbles. Pag may bubbles, bakit ayaw natin yan sa NPH insulin or insulin in general? Guys, pag yan na-aspirate mo, bubbles, pwedeng makapuno ang small bubble ng 1 unit from that insulin syringe. Kaya ayaw nating magkaroon ng bubbles ang mga vials ng insulin natin because it can alter the dose of insulin. Maling-mali yan. Kaya ba? Therefore, it can alter your control of the blood sugar of the patient. Imbes na mabigay mo yung tamang dose, maa-alter mo yung dose kasi ni-shake mo. Rather than rolling it in between the palm, you form the bubbles occupy the space of your insulin syringe, you give the wrong dose. Kaya ba? Yes, that's why Bravo is so wrong rather than Delta because Delta is acceptable in practice. you can give it in a 90-degree angle. Lalo na kung makapal naman ang fat tissues. Kasi ang importante, you give it on the subcutaneous or fat tissue. Walang problema ang 90 degrees. Basta mabigay mo sa fats ng pasyente. Okay? However, Bravo is so wrong because can alter the dose of the medication. Claro? Yes. Next, number 9. The nurse monitors Kazuha's electrolytes while taking digoxin. Which imbalance commonly leads to digoxin toxicity? Napag-usapan na natin to kanina, no other than your what? Hypokalemia. Because digoxin and electrolyte potassium acts on the same receptor site. They compete in the same receptor site. So, guys, digoxin will excite the site and then potassium will also excite the site. However, if potassium drops down in low levels, ang makaka-excite lang ng receptor site is si digoxin mo, promoting digoxin toxicity. Kaya hypokalemia is dangerous, can cause digoxin toxicity. Klaro ba? Yes, very good. Next, number 10. Child is prescribed amiodarone for cardiomyopathy. The nurse should monitor his rhythm to check its effectiveness in controlling letter A, sinus node dysfunction, letter B, heart block, letter C, severe bradycardia, letter D, life-threatening ventricular dysrhythmias. Guys, if you watched my cardio series on your ECG and mga dysrhythmias in general, the only correct answer is delta, life-threatening ventricular dysrhythmia. Guys, you don't give amiodarone for severe bradycardia. Anong drug of choice natin for bradycardia, guys? Is that your atropine sulfate? Yes, very good. Guys, heart block. Can you also give atropine sulfate? Yes, pampabilis ng conduction from the SA node to the AV node, you give your anticholinergic, you give your atropine sulfate. Sinus node dysfunction is so general, hindi mo yan ginagamitan ng amiodarone. Guys, amiodarone is one of the strongest anti-dysrhythmic drug you can give to a patient, especially yung may mga rhythms from the ventricles. Klaro ba? Yes. So, pwede mo yan ibigay to a ventricular fibrillation na refractory to shock. You can also give that to ventricular tachycardia. Pulseless man or with a pulse. Klaro ba yon? Yes, very good. So, delta is the only correct answer. Next, number 11. Shinqui, a diabetic client with hypertension, is prescribed atenolol or your tenormin. The nurse teaches that tenormin can cause, letter A, a decrease in the hypoglycemic effects of insulin. Letter B, an increase in the hypoglycemic effect of insulin. Letter C, an increase in the incidence of ketoacidosis. Or letter D, a decrease in the incidence of ketoacidosis. Sige, isip. The only correct answer is no other than letter B, an increase in the hypoglycemic effect of insulin. Guys, tignan mo ang sabi ng tanong. Sinabi niya specifically, may diabetes at may hypertension ang pasyente mo. Binigyan ng atenolol. Olol drugs. Is that your beta blockers? Yes. Very good. Guys, anong sabi natin about your beta blocker? Will it block the beta cell? Yes. Remember, sabi natin, the beta cell committed to the SNS or your fight or flight response. Klaro? Your fight or flight response. Guys, ibig sabihin, pag nandyan si beta cells, ang lagi niyang ginagawa, tinataas niyang heart rate, tinataas niyang blood pressure, sympathetic nervous system, fight or flight. Kaya, pag sinabi mong beta blockers, will it block the beta cells? Yes. To block the SNS in the fight or flight response? Yes. Therefore, causing low in the heart rate and low in the blood pressure. Kaya ba binibigay natin sa hypertensive na pasyente like Shinqui? Yes, very good. Now guys, ang tanong specifically sinabi niya, ano ang effect kapag binigay mo ang atenolol sa taong diabetic at sa taong may hypertensive? Guys, for hypertension, walang problem kasi binababa niya ang BP mo. But important note, kapag diabetic din siya, you know that a diabetic patient will have insulin doses, correct? Yes. Anong pinaka-importante na nursing consideration when giving insulin? Correct. Naiisip mo yun. That's your hypo hypoglycemia. Yan ba ang babantayan natin? Yes, kasi anong ginagawa ng insulin sa katawan mo? It will put the sugar in the cell. Insulin, di ba? It puts sugar in the cells. So guys, hypoglycemia ang effect. It can therefore have a risk of hypoglycemia kasi lahat ng sugar in the cells na hypo, mababa, ang gly or ang sugar in the imia, in the hema, in the blood. Okay? Kasi nasa na sila lahat? Nasa loob na ng cells, di ba? Sugar in the cells ang insulin mo. So guys, that's why it's important for the nurse to monitor what? Hypoglycemia during what? Insulin treatment ba? Yes. Now, this is the important part. Kapag ikaw naka-beta blockers at naka-insulin at the same time, ang nangyayari is you cannot detect kung kailan may hypoglycemia na ang pasyente. Why? This is what we term as your hypoglycemia unawareness. Hindi na siya aware na may hypoglycemia na pala siya. Why? Guys, this is what I always tell my students. When you want to know if there's already an ongoing hypoglycemia to the patient, our formula is we look for SNS plus low sugar. Guys, alam mong hypoglycemia yan kapag ang pasyente mo nagiging tachycardic. Kapag ang pasyente mo nagkakaroon ng, tremors, nagiging jittery. Okay? Guys, ano pa? Low sugar. For example, syncope. Bigla na lang nahihimatay. Ito ibig sabihin, ma'am, pag hypoglycemia, may tachycardia, may tremors, may jitteriness, may palpitations. Lahat ng mga SNS mo, guys. Lahat ng mga SNS mo na signs and symptoms. So tell me, pag naka-beta blockers ka, will it block the beta cells? Yes. Will it block the SNS? Yes, precisely. So will it also block the SNS effect of hypoglycemia? Yes. So the patient, kahit hypogly na siya guys, cannot experience tachycardia, walang tremors, walang jitteriness, walang palpitations. Pag sobrang bumaba ang sugar niya, hindi niya mararamdaman na mababa na pala ang sugar niya dahil sa kagagawan ni insulin hanggang sa mahimatay na lang siya. Klaro ba yon? Yes. Kaya kailangan alam yan ng pasyenteng may diabetes at may hypertension na beta blocker can cause hypoglycemia unawareness. Kaya importanteng to regularly check your sugar before giving insulin kasi you cannot feel it symptomatically in your body if hypoglycemia ka na as a patient because of the beta blocker effect. Klaro? Because of hypoglycemia unawareness. Klaro ba yon? Yes. That's why it will increase the hypoglycemic effect of insulin. Kasi hypogly ka na, hindi mo alam na hypogly ka because of the beta blocker. Klaro ba yon? Yes. Guys, decrease is wrong. Kasi mas mag-hypogly ka dito kasi hindi mo mararamdaman. So, hindi ka makakakain, hindi ka makaka-intake ng sugar to counteract the hypogly effect of the insulin. Klaro ba yon? Yes. And walang kinalaman ang Charlie and Delta dito. Because ketoacidosis will only happen if you do not have insulin doses. Klaro ba? Yes, very good. So, bravo is the only correct answer. Next, number 12. When caring for Kiki, a child on long-term steroid therapy, the nurse should assess for letter A, usual behavior and temperament, letter B, loss of weight from baseline, letter C, development of truncal obesity, or letter D, demonstration of a growth spurt. Guys, the only correct answer is no other than top-notcher pag sinagot, development of truncal obesity. Okay, klaro ba yun? Yes. Guys, listen, this is what I want you to know about your steroids. Steroids, these are the drugs that ends in zone, that ends in solone, di ba? Hydrocortisone, dexamethasone, prednisone, yan, mga zones, and mga methylprednisolone, prednisolone, okay? Yan sila. They are all steroid drug. And the thing about your steroid drugs, they are all primarily a cortisol replacement. That's an important concept when you're talking about long-term steroids therapy. Guys, ibig sabihin, long-term, for the longest of time, nagsisteroids ka lagi. So think, Guys, a child like Kiki, naka long-term steroids. Bakit kaya? Baka ba may asthma? Okay? Baka ba may asthma si Kiki? Yes, anong sabi natin? Pag asthma, guys, long-term steroid, ibig sabihin naka-maintenance siya sa steroid. Like, for example, pag may asthma ka, is that your fluticasone? Yes, fluticasone inhaler. Long-term steroids use ba yon for a patient with asthma? For a child with asthma? Yes, kaya sinabi dyan on long-term steroid therapy. Ang tanong, ano ang i-assess mo kapag naka-long-term steroid? Sabi natin, steroids predominantly a cortisol replacement. Ibig sabihin, on long-term steroids, you are constantly increasing pharmacologically the cortisol of the body because of the long-term steroids use. Because steroids is a cortisol replacement. So guys, easy. What endocrine problem causes high cortisol, high glucocorticosteroid, high sugar hormone in the body? Is that your Cushing's disease? Yes, Cushing's mo yan. Pag kinaracterize mo ang Cushing's mo, is that high in SSS hormones? Yes, high in the, lagay ko dito, high in the SSS, high in sugar like your cortisol, high in salt like your aldosterone, high in sex hormone like your testosterone. Yes. So guys, isip, kapag naka long-term steroids, steroids is predominantly a cortisol replacement. Can it increase the cortisol in the body of the patient? Yes. Kaya ang mga pasyenteng may long-term steroids use can present with truncal obesity. Guys, truncal obesity is not the characterization of your Cushing's disease. You have your moon face, you have your buffalo hump, and you have your pendulous abdomen with your purple striae or stretch marks. And on top of that, you have your what? Thin extremities. So you look like a snowman. Para kang kukuratsa, parang ipis. Tama ba? Yes. So yan. Yan ang i-observe mo. The development of Cushing's disease because of the increase in the cortisol in the body mo. Because steroid is predominantly a cortisol replacement. Kara ba yun? Yes. Very good. So Charlie is the only correct answer. The rest, they are irrelevant to the question of steroids use. Next, number 13. Lisa is taking phenytoin or Dilantin for seizure control. The nurse instructs her that she needs, alam mo to guys, letter A, increased iron, letter B, increased calcium, letter C, frequent dental examinations, or letter D, frequent eye examinations. No other than, the only correct answer is your letter C, frequent dental examination. Phenytoin, is that your anticonvulsant? Yes, ginagamit natin yan for seizure control. Pwede kang mag-phenytoin sa pasyenteng may seizure control kasi it can inhibit the brain's seizure activity. Phenytoin, anticonvulsant. And what we know about the effect of phenytoin, it can cause your gingival hyperplasia. Pag sinabing hyperplasia, the growth of more cells. So, mas dadami pa yung cells mo kapag nag-phenytoin ka. Klaro? So, lalaki yung gilagid mo. Guys, 1/4 na lang ang may iwan sa ngipin mo. So, to avoid that, anong gagawin mo? Do you need to frequently check with your dentist? Yes. Okay? Para maiwasan mo yan. Okay? And you have to have proper dental care. Or else, guys, yung mga dental infections, no, from your mouth, if wala kang maayos na oral care, will cause inflammation of the gums, will further increase the size of your gums, inflamed gums. Klaro? Yes. So, kaya frequent dental examination is the correct answer. Walang kinalaman si iron, calcium, and then eye examination. They are irrelevant to phenytoin use. Klaro ba? Yes. Number 14. Tignari, who has asthma, is prescribed beclometasone. Guys, ayan na. The drugs that ends in "sone", are they steroid drugs? Yes. Beclovent via MDI or your metered dose inhaler to check if he rinses his mouth after each use. The nurse inspects for letter A, gingival hyperplasia. Letter B, oral candidiasis. Letter C, ulceration. Letter D, dental caries. And the only correct answer is no other than your oral candidiasis. Okay, klaro ba yun? Yes. Guys, makinig ka sa akin na mabuti ha. Another concept for your steroids use. Okay? Guys, beclometasone, is that a steroid? Yes, because we say steroid, they are the drugs that end in "sone" or the drugs that ends in "solone." Klaro? Yes. Guys, listen carefully to this. Steroids, they are one of the best and potent drugs to decrease inflammation in the body. Kapag may mga pamamaga ka sa katawan mo, mga inflammation sa katawan mo, isa sa pinaka-potent na drugs, steroids mo, mga zones na drugs, mga solone. Kaya kung mapapansin mo, inflammation in the brain, you can give your dexamethasone. Inflammation in the lungs, you can give beclomethasone, fluticasone. Bakit? Inflammation in the airway, guys, like your asthma, di ba? Sobrang magang-maga ang airway mo. To decrease the airway inflammation, you can give steroids. Sabi nga natin, isa sa pinaka-potent. Guys, another one, yung mga autoimmune diseases mo like SLE, systemic lupus erythematosus, pamamaga yan sa katawan mo. Klaro? Anong best drug na pwede mong ibigay? Mga steroids, hydrocortisone, prednisone, klaro ba? Yes, kasi nga isa yan sa pinaka-potent drug for inflammation reduction. Now, the question is, paano ginagawa ng steroid yan? Bakit the best siya for inflammation? Because it attacks the core of your inflammation. It directly reduces the action of your immunity. Kasi sino ba ang nagkakos ng inflammation sa katawan mo? Is it your immune system? Yes. So, ang ginagawa ng steroid drugs, it will directly attack the immunity, reduce your immunity so that you reduce effectively the inflammatory effects of your what? Immunity. Klaro ba? Yes. So, tell me guys, dito, kapag nagbibigay ka ng metered dose inhaler, now, when you're using it directly in your mouth, can it decrease the immune system in the mouth? Local immune system ng mouth mo, can it decrease that? Yes, kasi steroids nga yan, inaatake ng immune system mo. So guys, pag nireduce mong immunity ng mouth mo, nangyayari is, pwede magkaroon ng infection sa mouth mo. Ang pinaka-sikat dyan is your oral candidiasis, also known as your oral thrush. Okay? Kagagawan ng iyong Candida albicans, di ba? Guys, it's a fungal infection in the mouth kasi binaba ng steroids ang immunity ng mouth mo. So what are you looking for exactly? Mga white patches inside the mouth. Kaya nga sabi natin, para maiwasan mo yan, para maiwasan mo ang oral thrush, oral candidiasis, guys, ang gagawin mo, an important instruction from the nurse, is to rinse your mouth after use of your inhaler. Klaro ba? Yes. Kaya sabi sa'yo ng nurse mo, ma'am, mag-gargle ka ha after mo maggamit ng iyong beclomethasone or else magkaka-infection ng mouth mo, ma'am. Okay? Klaro ba yon? Yes. Kaya iyan. To check for the compliance on mouth rinsing, you check for the presence of oral candidiasis or your oral thrush, which will appear as white patches in the mouth. Claro? Yes. Next, number 15. The nurse teaches Raiden Shogun with coronary artery disease about nitroglycerin. At the onset of chest pain, she should. Letter A, call 911 when 3 nitroglycerin tablets taken every 5 minutes are ineffective. Or letter B, call 911 when 5 nitroglycerin tablets taken every 5 minutes are ineffective. Or letter C, take 3 nitroglycerin tablets 10 minutes apart and call 911. Or letter D, go to the emergency department if 3 nitroglycerin tablets are ineffective. Alin dyan ang pinakatama at pasok sa metric natin on the nitroglycerin news? O, klarong guys, klarong-klaro. Walang iba kundi ano? Alpha lang. You call 911. Kung ang 3 nitroglycerin tablets taken every 5 minutes is ineffective. Klaro ba yon? Yes. Kasi anong sabi natin about nitroglycerin, guys? For angina ba yan? For chest pain ba yan? Drug of choice for chest pain? Very good. So guys, anong sabi natin? Interval? 5 minutes apart ba? Yes. Anong max dose? 3 doses ba? Yes. So sabi natin, pag ineffective ang 3 doses of nitroglycerin, is that myocardial infarction na ba? Yes. Kaya kailangan bang you call 911 and go to the nearest ER? Yes, precisely. Delta is wrong kasi sinabi niya 3 nitroglycerin tablets ineffective pero hindi niya sinabi kung ano ang interval. Alpha is complete and concise, therefore is the correct answer as opposed to letter D. Letter B, call 911 when 5 is mali because the maximum dose is 3. Klaro ba yun? Pag nasobrahan ka sa 5, that one can decrease your blood pressure, can cause severe hypotension, and hindi naman maganda yon. Take 3 nitroglycerin tablets is correct, but 10 minutes apart is what makes Charlie wrong. Next, number 16. Yoimiya is taking methotrexate or your Rheumethrex for severe rheumatoid arthritis. The nurse tells her it is necessary to monitor her, letter A, serum glucose, letter B, serum electrolytes, letter C, complete blood count with differential and platelet count, or letter D, sedimentation rate. Oh, guys, for this one, the only correct answer is no other than, okay? No other than your Charlie. Complete blood count with differential and platelet count. Guys, makinig ka na mabuti sa akin ha, para hindi ka mahirapan sa mga anti-cancer meds mo, mga chemotherapeutic meds mo, like your methotrexate. Please remember this. Your methotrexate, guys, ito si methotrexate. That one is an anti-metabolite kind of medication. Anti-metabolite yan siya. Pag sinabi mong anti-metabolite, anti-metabolism. Guys, what exactly is the metabolism we're talking here? Guys, methotrexate attacks directly the DNA metabolism of whatever kind of cell. How does it do it? Guys, it will directly target your what? Folic acid. Now you think, folic acid, ma'am, importante for DNA creation or metabolism? Yes, exactly. My dear, if you look at your DNA, alam natin it's the blueprint of life. It's inside of every cell of your body, of an animal, of a species, of a whatever kind of organism. May DNA yan dyan. Now, to make a perfect DNA, kailangan mo ng folic acid. It's one of the building blocks to create a perfect DNA. Klaro ba yun? Yes. So, methotrexate attacks that important part. It will attack folic acid. Kaya nga ang tawag natin dyan, folic acid antagonist, no? Folic acid antagonist, anti-metabolite, your methotrexate, the same thing. Kasi it will attack the folic acid. E di ngayon, hindi ka makakagawa ng maayos na DNA strands. E di ngayon, hindi ka makaka-replicate ng cell mo kasi wala kang maayos na DNA strand. Correct ba? Yes. That's why methotrexate is best for rapidly dividing cells. Rapidly dividing cells. Guys, tell me, rapidly dividing cell, best example of that is that your cancer. Diba? Cancer is characterized by imperfect and ugly, rapidly dividing cells. Klaro ba yun? Yes. So, you give methotrexate, you can attack cancer because you can stop the cancer cells from rapidly dividing by inhibiting the folic acid, which is an important part of DNA replication. So, they cannot replicate. Wala silang choice to stop. Klaro ba yun? Yes. Kaya nga best for rapidly dividing cells like your cancer. Another one, guys, autoimmune disease like your rheumatoid arthritis. RA, rheumatoid arthritis is an autoimmune disease. Your own immune system is attacking your joints. Okay? Kaya nasisira yung joints mo, you get rheumatoid arthritis. So guys, in autoimmune disease, you have a lot of antibodies that are up against your own tissues. Like in rheumatoid arthritis, ina-attack niyo yung own tissues mo, kaya nagkakaroon ka ng sakit. Kaya ang ginagawa ni methotrexate to stop the autoimmune. It will stop the cells from rapidly dividing by inhibiting the folic acid, which is important for creation of your DNA. Di ba? Tama? Yes. And another use, don't forget, you also give methotrexate for ectopic pregnancy. Ayan. For ectopic pregnancy. Guys, tell me, ectopic pregnancy is that the pregnancy implanted outside the uterus. Nasa fallopian tube mo yung baby. Imbes na dapat nasa loob ng uterus mo. Correct? Yes. Kaya you are at risk for fallopian tube rupture. Kasi rapidly dividing cells ba ang baby, ang zygote? Yes. So to stop the replication of the zygote, to prevent the rupture of the fallopian tube, can you give methotrexate? Yes. Kasi it will directly attack the folic acid. Yes. To stop DNA production. Yes. To stop the replication of the cells. Precisely. Kaya yan ang best na ibibigay natin para sa mga rapidly dividing cells in the case of cancer, in the case of autoimmune, in the case of ectopic pregnancy. Kaya guys, among the following choices, alin lang dyan ang cells? Sino lang ang cells sa kanila? Charlie, complete blood count. Cells ang chinecheck mo dyan. White blood cells, red blood cells, platelets, neutrophils, leukocytes, lymphocytes. They are all cells. Correct ba? Yes. So if you're giving methotrexate, mga fast-moving cells in the body, yung nire-replace ng katawan mo. Like for example, red blood cells, replaced every after 90 days. Correct ba? Like your platelets, replaced after 7 days. Guys, they are constantly replaced. If you are giving methotrexate, yung replacement ng cells na yan, hindi mangyayari. Kaya pwedeng bumagsak ng sobra ang iyong RBC, ang iyong white blood cells, ang iyong platelets. Kasi nga, it's gonna attack rapidly dividing cells, even the normal cells of your body. Your methotrexate can attack them. Kaya you check the complete blood count to see if binaba niya na din ba. Pati ang red blood cells, white blood cells, and platelets. Klaro ba yon? Yes, kasi it can lower any kind of cell that is rapidly dividing in the body. Yun ang effect ni methotrexate. Klaro ba? Yes. Kaya nga sabi nila, no, in cancer regimen, it's a double-edged sword. Lalo na if you're using anti-metabolite like your methotrexate. Kasi it can effectively attack the rapidly dividing cancer cells. But on the same breath, it can also attack the healthy and normal cells needed for the normal function of your body. Klaro ba yun? Yes. So the best answer is Charlie. Ayun. TED Talk lang. Okay? Na TED Talk tuloy ang iyong methotrexate. Anyway, knowledge is knowledge. Tama? Yes. Number 17. Venti, age 80, with heart failure, is treated with digoxin or your lanoxin. He reports nausea for a week and vomiting for 2 days. Labs reveal hypokalemia. The nurse should assess him for signs of, guys, alam mo na to, is it chronic renal failure? Is it exacerbation of heart failure? Is it digoxin toxicity? Or is it metabolic acidosis? Eh di, walang ibang tamang sagot kundi digoxin toxicity. Perfect. Guys, did we say digoxin toxicity is give? Ibig sabihin, GI upset. Nausea for a week, vomiting for a week, GI upset. Letter V is for visual disturbances. Wala namang nabanggit na visual disturbances. But letter E, electrolyte imbalances, especially your hypokalemia. Nasabi bang may hypokalemia? Yes. So, walang ibang tamang sagot, kundi Charlie, digoxin toxicity. Perfect. Next, number 18. The therapeutic effect of desmopressin nasal spray or your DDAVP for sucrose is obtained when she no longer has. Pag nawala ang symptom ng letter A, polydipsia. Letter B, nasal congestion. Letter C, headache. Letter B, blurred vision. And the only correct answer is no other than your polydipsia. Okay? Guys, tell me, your desmopressin acetate, that's one of the drug of choice for your what? Diabetes insipidus. DI, your diabetes insipidus. Tama? Yes. DI, diabetes insipidus. You also term that as your dami-ihi. Diba? DI, dami-ihi. So, it's effective if she no longer has dami-ihi. Polyuria is dami-ihi. Guys, nasal congestion is an effect of your desmopressin acetate that you want to avoid. Kaya, para ma-avoid mo ang nasal congestion, ang instruction natin sa patient mo, taking desmopressin nasal spray is to alternate nares to avoid the most common type of discomfort of your desmopressin nasal spray na nasal congestion. Headache and blurred vision, they are both side effect. Okay? They are most commonly reported side effect of your desmopressin nasal spray. Klaro ba yon? Yes, very good. Ayan. So, that's the best answer. Polydipsia, it's effective if you no longer have polydipsia or dami-ihi. Okay? Next, number 19. Kave is started on simvastatin or your Zocor for cholesterol management. The nurse tells him which lab test must be monitored. Letter A, complete blood count. Letter B, serum glucose. Letter C, total protein. Letter D, liver function test. Guys, the only correct answer for number 19 is no other than liver function test lang po. Guys, remember this. Simvastatin, mga statin drugs mo. Statin, mga statin drugs mo. Simvastatin, rosuvastatin, yan sila, mga statin drugs mo. They are all given to a patient to lower cholesterol. They are drugs to lower cholesterol. Guys, and they directly attack yung tagagawa ng cholesterol ng katawan mo. They inhibit the function of the liver to lower the cholesterol. Kasi sino ba ang organ responsible to create the fats? Guys, fat metabolism sa liver mo. Siya ang may gawa ng bile. Klaro, siya din ang may gawa ng mga fats sa katawan mo. So guys, if you are checking the effect of simvastatin, check mo yung organ na directly involved in the cholesterol making, and that's your what? Liver. So you check for the liver function test to note, okay, if Zocor or simvastatin is doing its therapeutic effect or naging toxic na siya kasi apektado na ang function ng liver. Liver function test, you're checking for AST. Pero din, ALT, yung mga liver enzymes mo, now known as your SGPT or your SGOT. Okay? So, this was the olden days. This is the current. Okay? SGPT, SGOT na yan, tawag nila ngayon. Klaro ba yun? But the same pa rin yan when you say AST, ALT, the same lang yan. They are all part of the liver function test. They will detect if the liver are still functioning properly. So, that's the best answer. Next, number 20. Noelle is taking aspirin daily for rheumatoid arthritis. The nurse instructs her to report which side effect. Letter A, abdominal cramps. Letter B, tinnitus. Letter C, rash. Letter D, hypotension. Huwag magkakamali. Ang only correct answer is no other than tinnitus. Okay? Guys, pag sinagot mo abdominal cramps, not correct. Okay? Crampy feeling of the abdomen can be associated to other kinds of abdominal discomfort. For example, kabag. For example, regla. Klaro ba yun? Lalo na Noel, babae yan. Guys, ano pa? What about abdominal cramps or abdominal problem? Kasi ang alam mo, aspirin, ma'am, that one can cause GI upset. So, ma'am, I think abdominal cramp is a GI upset. Guys, cramp feeling is different from the GI upset for your aspirin. Sabi natin, in GI, aspirin can cause the creation of ulcers. Guys, the pain in ulcers is not cramp. It's severe, moderate to severe. Masakit yan. Mahapdi, stabbing pain, na mahapdi, na burning pain. Okay, ganon. Cramp feeling, on the other hand, is different from that. Klaro ba yon? Yes. Okay? So guys, that's wrong. Klaro? Tinnitus. Bakit? Kasi ma'am, that one can cause ototoxicity. Pag sinabi mong auto, it has something to do with the ears. Toxicity, edi toxicity sa ears. So guys, it can affect the cranial nerve number 8 or your vestibulocochlear nerve or your acoustic nerve. So si aspirin, just like your furosemide, your loop diuretics, it can also have the potential to cause tinnitus. Klaro ba yun? Don't forget ha, it can cause tinnitus. So that's the one that you report. A rash is not present in an aspirin or hypotension. Walang direct effect si aspirin dyan. Klaro ba yun? Yes, the only correct answer is bravo, tinnitus. Next, number 21. The nurse is teaching Ganyu, who is prescribed dexamethasone. Ayan na guys. Drugs that end in "sone", is that your steroid drugs? Yes, very good. Or your Decadron for cerebral edema. Pamamaga ng utak, steroid drug, pwedeng ibigay. About early symptoms of Cushing's disease. Tama nga naman because steroids are what? Predominantly a cortisol replacement. Very good. Which should she report? Letter A, hypotension. Letter B, increased urinary frequency. Letter C, increased muscle mass. Or letter D, increased bruising. And the only correct answer is no other than your easy bruising. Klaro ba yon? Yes. So guys, ganito ang nangyayari kapag ikaw may Cushing's disease. Guys, di ba sabi natin when we characterize Cushing's disease, that one, ma'am, is the increase in the SSS. So mataas ang sugar or ang cortisol. And the next S, that's your salt or your aldosterone. Guys, ang motto natin dito, wherever aldosterone goes, sodium follows. And wherever sodium goes, water follows. Yan yung motto natin for aldosterone increase in your Cushing's ha. Kaya hypotension is not the correct answer. If it will increase sodium and water in the body, it can also increase the blood volume. Therefore, can cause hypertension or high blood pressure. The more blood volume you have, the more the pressure the blood can exert. And the hypertension rather than hypotension. And another one, guys, is sex. Claro? So, sex is that your testosterone hormone. Yes, claro. And aside from the increase in the SSS, guys, it can also cause your protein catabolism. When you say protein catabolism, it can break down the proteins important in the body. For example, collagen. It can break down collagen. For example, your muscles, because your muscles are thick of fibers of protein. So, increased muscle mass is definitely wrong. Urinary frequency, walang kinalaman. However, easy bruising. Ibig sabihin, madali lang mag-rupture yung mga blood vessels mo dahil sa ano? Protein catabolism. Because the blood vessels, yung walls ng blood vessels mo, created on collagen to allow them to expand and constrict. Klaro ba yun? Yes. So guys, easy bruising is because of the rupture of these vessels, because of the low in the collagen levels, because of protein catabolism of your Cushing's disease. Klaro ba yun? Yes. So delta is the best answer. Next, number 22. The nurse should complete which assessment on Ayaka who received tissue plasminogen activator or your alteplase or activase? Letter A, neurologic signs frequently throughout the course of therapy. Letter B, excessive bleeding every hour for the first 8 hours. Or letter C, blood glucose levels. Or letter D, arterial blood gas values. And the only correct answer is no other than alpha, okay? Alpha. Neurologic signs frequently throughout the course of therapy. Why? Guys, remember this. Alteplase is that part of your USA, di ba? Urokinase, streptokinase, alteplase. They are all your what? Thrombolytics. Given to dissolve thrombus. Klaro ba? To dissolve a clot. Okay? So, si alteplase, yon. Guys, you check for neurologic signs. Why? Because when you give thrombolytics to the patient, they now are very sensitive to the changes of the blood pressure in the body. Guys, increase in the BP of the patient pag yung blood pressure tumaas lalo na sa brain kung saan sobrang liit lang ng mga blood vessels mo dyan. When the blood vessels rupture because of the increase in the blood pressure, what happens is nothing will clot the bleed kasi may taga-dissolve ka ng clot, may alteplase ka, may thrombolytics ang pasyente mo. So you watch out for neurologic signs frequently throughout the therapy because that one can increase or predispose the patient to what kind of stroke? Hemorrhagic stroke. Klaro ba yun? Yes. And there's nothing to clot the bleed if you are in thrombolytics therapy. Why Bravo therefore is wrong, ma'am? Kasi kailangan natin i-check ang bleeding, ma'am, di ba? Kasi nga, naka-thrombolytics siya. Guys, ang sabi, every hour lang for the first 8 hours. That's wrong. The entire treatment of your thrombolytics, you have to check for the coagulability of the patient or the bleeding tendencies or the excessive bleeding of the patient. Making Bravo wrong. Blood glucose level and arterial blood gas, walang kinalaman. Next, number 23. The nurse adjusts Tartaglia's heparin dose according to anticoagulation therapy orders. Which lab value and therapeutic range should be maintained? Letter A, partial thromboplastin time 1.5 to 2.5 times the normal control. Or letter B, prothrombin time 1.5 to 2.5 times the normal control. Or letter C, international normalized ratio 2 to 3 seconds. Or letter D, thrombin clotting time 10 to 15 seconds. And the only correct answer is no other than, you know this, alpha lang po. PTT ang chinecheck natin for heparin. Sabi nga natin, heparin starts with letter H. The H in heparin looks like double T together. E di PTT ang chinecheck natin. PT or prothrombin time plus your INR, guys, you check that for warfarin naman. So, if you wanna know if therapeutic pa ang heparin mo, PTT. Because heparin letter H looks like double T. So, that's your PTT. Got ba yun? Yes. Alpha is the only correct answer. Next, number 24. The nurse administers lactulose or Dufalac to Vaiju, who has cirrhosis. What outcome is expected? Letter A, stimulation of peristalsis of the bowels. Letter B, reduced peripheral edema and ascites. Letter C, reduced serum ammonia levels. Letter D, prevention of hemorrhage. Guys, listen, the only correct answer for number 22 is no other than letter C, to reduce serum ammonia levels. Sinabi specifically, ginamit ang lactulose for cirrhosis. Hindi sinabing ginamit siya for stool problems or bowel movement problems, but rather cirrhosis. This is an important characteristic of your lactulose or your stool softener. Guys, di ba? You know lactulose is a stool softener. It will make the stool softer. Claro? Yes. So that you can achieve at least 2 to 3 BM in a day. Yan yung therapeutic regimen niya. Claro? Guys, put a star. Important concept yan about lactulose. It is therapeutic if it's able to produce 2 to 3 bowel movements a day. Guys, and the thing about lactulose, lalo na pag liver cirrhosis ang usapan, put another star. Important yan to decrease the ammonia levels of the body. Okay? Why? Your lactulose, it will trap ammonia in the stool because another way of removing ammonia in the body is through the stool. So guys, pag tae ka 2 to 3 times a day, every day, you can remove ammonia in the stool. And bakit importante yan to decrease ammonia level? Lalo na kapag ang usapan is your liver cirrhosis. Kasi guys, in liver cirrhosis, when you say cirrhosis, that's the scarring of your liver. Ibig sabihin, imbes na liver cells ang meron dyan, peklat na lang lahat. Therefore, the liver cannot do its function. The liver function will go down. And one of the most important function of the liver is to turn ammonia, which is very toxic in the body, into urea. Now, if you have liver cirrhosis, you can no longer turn ammonia into urea. The question is, bakit kailangan ko siyang gawin urea, ma'am? Kasi, guys, pag urea na ang ammonia mo, pwede mo siyang ilabas sa urine. Urea ang content niyan. Kailangan mo siyang ilabas sa urine kasi ammonia is toxic to the body. Now, if you cannot excrete ammonia in the urine because you cannot convert it into urea, you can excrete ammonia in the bowels, BM, in your tae. Kaya dyan pumapasok ang effect ni lactulose. Since it's a stool softener, it promotes bowel movement at least 2 to 3 times a day, therapeutically. Pag sumobra sa 3, hindi na yun maganda. Dapat 2 to 3 times a day ka lang tatae. Therefore, you can increase bowel movement, you can increase the ammonia release in the body para hindi maging toxic levels yan. Guys, bakit? Pag sobrang dumami ang ammonia sa katawan ng pasyente, it can cause what we call a complication of your liver cirrhosis, your hepatic encephalopathy. Ayan. So, mo, hepatic, ibig sabihin of liver cause. Si liver ang may kasalanan kung bakit tayo nagkaroon ng encepha or brain pathy problem. Pathy is problem. So, hepatic brain problem. It's hepatic of nature, kaya ka nagka-brain problem. And all because of the increase in ammonia. That's why you give your lactulose to try and decrease ammonia by bowel movement. By eliminating it in a route, you can still eliminate ammonia kasi hindi mo na magawa sa urine, kasi hindi mo na siya ma-convert into urea, kasi may liver cirrhosis ka, kasi sira na ang liver mo, kasi puro peklat na lang. Klaro ba yun? Yes, that's why the only correct answer is C. Kasi nilink siya sa cirrhosis. Stimulation of peristalsis, pwede mong isagot yan kung walang cirrhosis sa question. This one is specifically asking you about cirrhosis, so you give a specific answer as well. Klaro ba yun? Yes. General questions demand general answers. Specific questions demand specific answers in the board exam. Charlie is the only correct answer. The other choices are irrelevant. Next, number 25. As part of the treatment plan, Nilu is prescribed steroids for ulcerative colitis. The nurse should assess her for which complication? Letter A, peptic ulcer. Letter B, hypoglycemia. Letter C, tachycardia. Letter D, renal failure. Guys, Oh, the only correct answer here is no other than peptic ulcer. The thing about your steroids, is this the drug that ends in zone? The drugs that ends in solone? Yes, hydrocortisone, prednisone, dexamethasone, methylprednisolone. Ayan, mga zones mo. They are all steroids. And did we say that they are very effective for autoimmune diseases like your ulcerative colitis? Kasi they can directly lower down the effect of immune system to lower down inflammation. Yes, kaya binibigay din natin yan sa ulcerative colitis. Now, you would assess for the complication of a peptic ulcer disease. Why? The creation of ulcer, sugat-sugat dyan sa stomach or duodenum mo. Because steroids, lalo na yung mga tablet forms, they are GI irritants. So the question is, how do I avoid the peptic ulcer disease creation of my steroid drugs, ma'am? And then you have to take it with meals. Make sure you take your steroid drugs with meals. Klaro ba yun? To avoid ulcerations of the GI tract or your peptic ulcer disease. Guys, anong sabi natin sa steroid is that predominantly a cortisol replacement. Yes. Did we say cortisol is the sugar hormone of the body? Yes, precisely. So guys, wherever cortisol goes, sugar follows. That's the motto in MedSurg. Lalo na when you're talking about cortisol in your Cushing's disease and Addison's disease in your endocrine concept. Just remember, wherever cortisol goes, sugar follows. So anything that will increase cortisol in the body, for example, under stress ka. For example, kasi cortisol is a stress hormone. Mataas ang sugar sa body kasi mataas si cortisol. For example, you're taking cortisol replacements like your steroid drugs because steroids are predominantly a cortisol replacement. Guys, hypoglycemia therefore is wrong. Okay? Hyperglycemia on the other hand is what can happen. Okay? Tachycardia, walang kinalaman. Renal failure, walang kinalaman. Para ba yun? Yes. Next, number 26. Official who has glaucoma prescribe timolol or your Timoptic eye drops. Which instruction should the nurse give her? A. Instill the eye drops whenever the eyes feel irritated. Letter B. The medication may cause some transient eye discomfort. Letter C. Keep the medication refrigerated between doses. Letter D. The need to use the eye drop will be reevaluated after 1 month. And the only correct answer is no other than your letter B. The medication may cause some transient eye discomfort. Guys, remember this ha. Timolol. That's a beta blocker na in an eye drop form. Specifically given for glaucoma. Guys, pag sinabi nating glaucoma, ang pinaka-simplest definition of glaucoma, an eye problem, is the increase in the intraocular pressure. Intraocular pressure, the pressure inside the eyes. Now, when you're giving timolol, beta blocker eye drops, ang ginagawa niyan guys, it will decrease your aqueous humor production. Aqueous humor is a fluid. Tubig yan sa loob ng mata mo. Guys, ang tubig sa mata mo, pag tumataas, pwedeng mag-increase ang intraocular pressure, pwedeng mag-cause ng glaucoma. Pag magbibigay ka ng timolol, it will decrease aqueous humor production. Therefore, it can decrease intraocular pressure. Kaya binibigay natin yan sa glaucoma mo. Kasi glaucoma is what? Increase in the intraocular pressure. Now, when you say it can cause transient eye discomfort, correct yan. Kasi it can cause a burning, sting, burning feeling, parang may sting. Guys, pwedeng may mild pain sa mata mo after mo yan i-drop. Now, pag hindi mo sinabi sa pasyente mo yan at nag-drop siya sa mata niya, bigla siyang nasaktan kasi may burning feeling. Pwede bang mabahala siya? Matakot siya? Yes. Pwede bang hindi niya nagamitin ng gamot dahil sa effect nun? Yes. Okay? And that one can cause a problem in the management of glaucoma. Kaya kailangan well-informed sila na, ma'am, eto ma'am, pwedeng mag-cause ng burning feeling sa mata ha. Pwedeng medyo mahapdi-hapdi siya, ma'am, pero normal lang po yun. Hahayaan mo lang po kasi after ilang minutes ay mawawala din naman. Klaro ba yun? Yes. last, transient lang. Aalis din, mawawala din yung eye discomfort na nangyari sa'yo. Klaro ba yon? Yes, important na alam nila yan so that they do not stop the medication or else pwede silang mabulag because of the increased intraocular pressure kagagawan ng glaucoma. Okay, that's why you have to keep the intraocular pressure low by giving your timolol. Guys, kaya tandaan mo to, timolol din on the other hand, in glaucoma concept is already a maintenance. Binibigay natin yan for maintenance management. Ibig sabihin, the need to use the eye drops will be re-evaluated after 1 month is wrong. Klaro ba? Yes, kasi you want to patient to use that as a maintenance to keep the intraocular pressure at a normal level. Klaro ba? Guys, instill the eye drops whenever the eyes feel irritated is wrong. It's not a PRN medication, but rather it's a maintenance. It's a mainstay medication. Gagamitin mo yan regularly, okay? To keep intraocular pressure normal or else pwede kang mabulag pag tumaas ang intraocular pressure mo. The medication should be refrigerated is wrong. You keep it in a cool, dry place. Klaro ba yun? Yes. 27. The physician prescribes nitroglycerin for Shanha who has angina and closed-angle glaucoma. The nurse should contact the physician to discuss the potential for letter A, decreased intraocular pressure, letter B, increased intraocular pressure, letter C, hypotension, letter D, hypertension. And the only correct answer is no other than pag nilink yan sa glaucoma, guys, huwag ka nang magdalawang isip. Sagutin mo about the intraocular pressure. Eliminate your Charlie and Delta. The only correct answer is no other than Bravo. Okay? Bravo. It can increase the intraocular pressure. What did we say about glaucoma? What's the simplest definition of your glaucoma? Is it the increase in the intraocular pressure inside the eyes? Yes. Guys, listen. Pag nagbigay ka ng nitroglycerin, is that the drug of choice for angina, chest pain? Yes. Nitroglycerin, anong ginagawa niyan? With it cause vasodilation of the arteries, of the blood vessels. Yes, very good. To improve the circulation in the myocardium, in the coronary arteries. Yes, tell me, pag nag-vasodilate yan, can it also vasodilate the other arteries in the body? Yes, including the arteries in the eyes. Yes, pag nag-vasodilate ang arteries ng eyes, can it increase the circulation in the eyes? Yes, can it therefore also increase the pressure in the eyes? Precisely. That's why the only correct answer is Bravo. You discuss with the physician, Doc, baka naman tumaas dito ang intraocular pressure ng pasyente kasi magvasodilate ang kanyang arteries. Di ba, Doc? Yes, that's why the only correct answer is Bravo. It will not decrease, but rather it will increase the intraocular pressure. Next, number 28. Ito, hospitalized with heart failure, is receiving digoxin or your lanoxin and furosemide. He reports a continuous ringing in his ears. What action should the nurse take? Letter A, obtain a digoxin level to check for toxicity. Letter B, note the observation and reassess in 2 hours. Letter C, ask if he has been taking aspirin in addition to his other medications. Or letter D, discontinue the furosemide and notify the physician. You know the correct answer. And a top-notcher will answer Delta. Discontinue the furosemide and notify the physician. Guys, alam mo to, when we talk about your furosemide, guys, ano ang adverse effect niyan? Can it cause your ototoxicity? Yes, the damage of the cranial nerve number 8. Yes, also known as your vestibulocochlear nerve. Also known as your acoustic nerve. Perfect. So guys, ototoxicity, what's the earliest sign? Is it tinnitus? Ano yan? That's the earliest sign. And anong sabi natin kanina? Pag naka-observe ka na ng adverse effect ng gamot or ng kahit anong intravenous infusion sa pasyente mo, the independent nursing action is to what? To discontinue, to hold, to stop the medication, and then to notify the physician. But the first thing you do is to stop the medication. Discontinue it. Independent nursing action ba yan? Yes. Can you do that even without doctor's orders? Yes, precisely. Part yan ng management mo. That's why Delta is the only correct answer. Alpha, pag mag-check ka pa ng toxicity, guys, sinabi na mismo ng pasyente mo, ma'am, may ringing sa ears ko. Ang gagawin mo to stop the potential further increase of toxicity is to discontinue the medication. Okay? Kasi may ringing of the ears na. Klaro ba yon? Yes. Kaya hindi mo na gagawin ng alpha. Guys, you obtain the digoxin level pag sabi ng physician, sige, check natin ang digoxin level ng pasyente mo. But the first thing you do is you stop. The action you need to take is to stop the medication. Guys, hindi ka pwedeng mag-observe lang. You need to do something. You need to step in kasi may nangyayari sa pasyente mo. May tinnitus. Sign na yan ng toxicity level. If he has been taking aspirin, is not relevant anymore. Pwede mo yan gawin mamaya. I-check mo mamaya. Pero ngayon, ang gagawin mo, since tinnitus is an early sign of your toxicity in the ears, autotoxic, you discontinue. Kara ba yun? Yes. Next, number 29. Beidou with severe arthritis has been taking prednisone. Drugs that ends in zone, is that your steroids? Yes, very good. Or your deltasone. 10 milligrams per day for 6 weeks. The nurse instructs her to immediately report which symptom? Letter A, respiratory infection. Letter B, joint pain. Letter C, constipation. Letter D, joint swelling. Guys, alam na alam mo to. Ipagtagpi-tagpi mo ang knowledge na nalaman mo kanina and you will come up with the only correct answer as respiratory infection. Guys, did we say that steroids drugs? These are the drugs that ends in zone. Ends in solone. Yes, one of the most potent drug to decrease inflammation in the body. Yes, because it will directly attack the cause of inflammation and that's your immunity. Claro? Yes, so tell me guys, if you are decreasing immunity of the patient, to try and decrease inflammation, like in arthritis, itis, pamamaga, inflammation of the joints. Guys, pag binaba mo ang immunity to baba infection, edi mababa ang immunity ng pasyente mo, high risk for what? Infection. That's why the only correct answer is the one that states about an infection, like a respiratory infection, like your alpha. Klaro ba yun? Yes. You are giving arthritis to try and decrease the joint swelling. That's the indication rather than an effect or a potential adverse effect of your prednisone. Joint pain can be reduced when you reduce joint swelling. So again, still part of the indication rather than a complication of your prednisone. Constipation, walang kinalaman. Then last item, number 30, which statement by Xiangling shows she needs more teaching after being instructed about ciprofloxacin? Guys, put a big X because you're looking for the wrong answer. Sabi you needs more further teaching. Guys, letter A, I must drink 1,000 to 1,500 ml of water a day. Or letter B, I should take an antacid before taking the Cipro. Or letter C, I should let the doctor know if I start vomiting from the Cipro. Or letter D, I may get lightheaded from the Cipro. And the only wrong statement here is no other than your alpha. I must drink 1,000 to 1,500 ml of water a day. That's wrong, guys. Kasi guys, parang nakalimit fluid intake ang pasyente mo sa 1,000 to 1,500 a day, ha? Guys, ang normal fluid intake mo at least 2 to 3,000 ml a day, okay? So guys, pag naka-Cipro ka, don't forget this. In ciprofloxacin, that one is an antibiotic, ha? Ciprofloxacin. This one can increase the risk of what we call your crystalluria. Ibig sabihin, the crystallization of your urine. So, to avoid crystalluria, ang management mo as a nurse is to try and increase oral fluid intake. How high, ma'am? You can increase at least to 3 to 4 liters per day. Claro? So, 1 to 1.5 liters a day, guys, is too low. It does not make the cut for a 3 to 4 liters a day to increase oral fluid intake to prevent crystalluria caused by your ciprofloxacin. Claro ba yun? Yes. Guys, you shouldn't take an antacid before taking Cipro. Correct. That's correct. Ang rule ng antacid mo is ano? 2 hours before meals or medication or 2 hours after meals and medication. And letter C, I should let the doctor know if I start vomiting. Correct. Because that means there's an ongoing reaction from the Cipro and you need to report that to your doctor. And letter D, I may get lightheaded from Cipro. Correct. Guys, it can cause lightheadedness. That's why the instruction to the patient is to change position slowly. Klaro ba yun? Yes. Okay. And that's all for your pharma Q&A, guys. I hope you learned. Bye!